pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, will you call roll call?
Cook, Hopkins, Odenettle, Patterson,
Here.
Richardson, Aaron Scott, Bill Scott, Wantle, Wormowski, Williams,
Here.
Mayor Ezzard, City Attorney Beard. You have a quorum.
At this time, let's entertain a motion for Tony to serve as mayor pro tem. And voice vote on that is okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition?
All right, thank you. Reading in the minutes. Okay, second? All right. Any communications?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Voice, yeah, voice vote.
Voice vote. On the minutes.
Yes, oh,
Voice vote.
voice vote?
All those in favor of the minutes being approved?
Oh, okay. Reading of minutes. Oh. Oh. Communications, I'm sorry. Presentations.
Not here. There's no petitions. I have two communications. The last meeting, we approved the closure of Edge Hill for Illinois College on the 23rd of August from 8 to noon. They're now requesting, due to the fact they had some issues with moving in over there on Park Street between Edge Hill and Grove. So they'd like to close from Edge Hill to Grove for that same period. So Park Street and then Edge Hill. Do you know, am I drawing a good picture?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just up to Grove, not all the way down there. So anyway, I didn't see that there'd be a problem, but I wanted to make sure that we had the right spot. Well, Grove Street's been, the other one is a neighborhood around Kosciuszko and Grove, and this was done last year. It's a second annual block party for Saturday, September 8th, and they close Kosciuszko between Grove Street. No. They're going to close between Grove Street and Kosciuszko and Prairie. Close Grove Street between Kosciuszko and Prairie. 10 a.m. to midnight. They did this last year. Apparently there was no problems. So if there's no problems, we'll go ahead and give them approval on this. We'll let Les know. That's all I have.
Okay, claims.
Claims are in the hands of the alderman.
All right. The mayor's report.
Motion approved.
Oh, yes. Could I have a motion to approve claims?
Aaron's got it.
Aaron Scott? Or Bill? Bill? Oh, I thought he raised his hand. Bill? Second? By who? Aaron? Okay. Scott Brothers. So, mayor's report. Oh, I guess I can't get past that. All in favor
Paying claims.
of paying claims?
Aye.
Aye. Same for nays? Okay, it's passed. Now, I guess we don't need a report. First one, under the mayor's report, resolution authorizing waiver of advertisement for the bids and accepting proposal for the compliance commitment agreement and affidavit of the post-closure work at the Jacksonville Municipal Landfill. So moved. Mark Passon, second. Are there any? Oh, okay.
Be it resolved, the competitive bidding is hereby waived and the proposal from Fair Graham Engineering and Environmental is accepted for the provision to the city for work on the compliance commitment agreement for the post-closure work at the landfill.
The second was
Bill was first.
Okay,
yeah.
roll call.
Now, roll call on the
Is there
resolution.
discussion?
Yeah, if you want.
Just a quick question. Is this the landfill that we thought we were,
Close to closing.
yes.
Yes.
But this is it?
No, this is work towards it. Getting it closed.
'Cause I thought we were there.
We were close, but the testing that they did right as we're getting ready to close showed leaching out in various areas. There was some erosion that they wanted taken care of. And about that time is when IEPA said, other issues you gotta deal with. So this is starting that compliance work towards final closure. And we may see it in our lifetimes.
Because we did other work before to try to get us to that
Yes.
closure. I
Yes.
mean, it seems like it is a
And
money pit.
Les's department's doing a lot of this work.
Right now, Bless's department is doing quite a bit of this work.
And this is something Mr. Torselli's working on a lot, right?
Yes,
So is it better because of that?
Much better. It could have been, we are anticipating some objections to submission of what we're doing. We've got a very good firm with a good relationship with IEPA. And they are specialists, so to speak, in closing landfills. So they seem to be doing a great job.
Was this also the one where they were trying to encapsulate it? Is that the?
That,
what-
in essence, that's what you do.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Just keep,
The cover on it, the clay cover, is leaking in spots, and so they have to go in and do some work. So,
roll call.
O'Donnell? Yes. Patterson? Yes. Richardson?
Yes.
Aaron Scott?
Yes.
Bill Scott?
Yes.
Wankel?
Yes.
Warmowski?
Yes.
And Williams.
Yes. City Attorney's report.
thank you. Have the one item, first read of an ordinance amending the municipal code regarding the area for trick or treating.
Motion?
Second.
Second.
Travis.
Travis.
Be it ordained that Chapter 18 miscellaneous offenses be amended by deleting Section 18-6, which, it's 18-6C, which prohibited trick or treating more than 5 blocks from the home of the trick or treater.
Discussion?
Just would like to thank the council for entertaining this idea. I was just thinking today, like, what does 5 blocks mean? So there's a whole bunch of different things with this ordinance that are problematic. I'm really hope we can get rid of it. Thank you.
Roll call.
Patterson? Yes. Richardson?
Yes.
Aaron Scott?
Yes.
Bill Scott?
Yes.
Wankel?
Yes.
Warmowski?
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Motion passes.
City Clerk's report.
You all received via email the Community Development Report, City Clerk's Cash Receipt Report, the Clerk's General Fund Budget Report, and Revenue Analysis Report for July 31. If there's any questions, you need something else on that, stop by the office, we'll go over it. Thank you.
And, we need a motion on that?
No.
No, okay. Okay, public comment.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't know if you folks seen this, I left 15 copies. Oh, you got them, good. All right. It's going to be an interesting meeting because I've also invited the Attorney General, well, probably have somebody else, they said, take her place, of course, at this town hall. And also other things that we've been making a little bit of progress. I got a hold of the Illinois Veterans Administration, and actually the person who helped me get that was a lady named Sharon Easman, who is Land Acquisition Bureau Chief, Illinois Attorney General's Office, 100 West Randolph, Chicago, Illinois. And here's what she wrote. I'll just give you a little bit of it and not all of it. But below is a link to Illinois Armed Forces Legal Network website. I was told by our Office Veterans Division that this agency might provide some assistance to your community given the injuries to the veterans that the change of ownership will inflict on, at least give you a direction as to what other entitles could offer support in some type, whether legal or otherwise. In addition, as I recommended to you in our phone conversation today, you should get on the Attorney General's website and submit the formal complaint in which you should note the numbers of seniors and veterans on limited incomes. I did that. I was up there Friday, filled out the forms at Madigan's in Springfield, at her building there. And also, they're supposed to assign me an advocate from the veterans. I should hear from them in a day or two, hopefully. And so we are making a little bit of progress. It seems though I can't get anything really out of Springfield. Everything ends up Chicago. But there's a lot of offices there in Chicago. And actually, there's even attorneys that specialize in modular homes, which we don't have in Springfield, we don't have here. So I'm looking forward to that, seeing that. And then there's a couple other, I don't know, you folks probably seen some of these pictures before. But I took these on August the 7th, and I'll just have you pass them around. This is a house I think that should be condemned and torn down, the one that burned August the 3rd. I mean March the 3rd, excuse me, March the 3rd of this year. And when they went to hook up to the fire hydrant, as you probably already know, it didn't work. The one that was at 103, the fire, and next door, 105, is where the hydrant is. Maybe from here to the cloakroom. So they went around the corner, went down a couple doors, went around the corner, up the street on Knollwood, and hooked up to that fire hydrant, and it worked, but the pressure wasn't very good. So they got a tanker truck in there to finish the job. Now, if they would have went to the next two hydrants, they didn't work either on Knollwood. There's two hydrants. The next following hydrants would not work. So thank God that one worked. Because if we would have had a very windy night that night, could have burned a whole village down out there.
Have those been repaired since?
Pardon?
Have they been repaired since then?
Well, that's another good question. Two of them were supposed to be repaired, but the pictures I'm passing around, I took these pictures on August the 7th. And there was nothing on, the ring was taken off, and the cap was put back on that hydrant that wasn't working at 105 Springbrook. Now, the ring's back on again. It says out of order. It's on that picture. That was taken August the 7th. So I think that's, something that's a concern to everybody on that street, in fact, the whole village. Because if our insurance companies found out about that, our insurance would be raised. I tried to get information at the I tried to get some information on fire hydrants and what condition, which ones needed repairs, which ones weren't working, and I've tried numerous times, and I'm not getting too far on that. I got one I received on 8/3/18 from Skip, and here's what I requested, because the previous one I sent in, Freedom of Information Act, I asked for what was done between a certain date, 08 to 18, 10 years, because I know most places keep records for 10 years. And anyway, the second time I put in another one, and I specifically named streets, because the one I got back the first time had two streets, my street and the next street. Those were put in like 1998. But I had nothing on the street where the fire hydrants weren't working, up that way, nothing. So we have Springbrook, where the fire was. I have no information on that. Birchfield, Sunwood, Prairie Cove, at Prairie Knolls, and Jacksonville, those are the other streets. For the years 208, 209, 210, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and July of 18. Now, I heard, I was told by Skip that they don't do them every year, they check them every 2 years. But if there's any repairs done, I would think that, you know, it would be taken care of, and there'd be somebody that'd have a record, either the city or the fire department. So here's what I got back. I got 1 year, 6/3 of '09. Springbrook and Norway, everything's fine. And then on Springbrook, a couple of places, everything's fine. They just give numbers, they don't give addresses. And then all the way down to Birchfield, it says on now. What happened to it? Why was it out? And then Sunwood and Norway, which is one of the newer streets where they're putting new homes, to be replaced. I don't know, was it ever replaced? I mean, who would have those records? If the city doesn't have the records, here in this department, would it be the fire department have the records? Or would it be over at the water plant, the new plant?
Fire department, but being its own private property, I think that's the.
Well, yeah, but then doesn't he have to keep records? Or he have his checked yearly?
They're out of order, but that's as far as they can take it, just like
Really?
that date.
Okay. Because at one time, I was told by Jack Carlson, the super, actually Gary Barrow went over there the first time, he's told me that he requested some records, and Skip said Jack said that he would get the records for him, that he had records. And the records were a letter sent to Spradlin 3 years ago or so, roughly 3 years ago, about the fire hydrants out. And he says if he can remember right, it was either 5 or 6 fire hydrants that were not working properly. So we went back, that was in May. In June, I went back with him again, Gary Barrow, and we were told the same thing. He says, well, come with me. And we walked down, and there's a little office where his secretary was, and he stood there in front of us and said, when you get a chance, I want you to pull a file and get that letter that we sent to Spradlin and send a copy out. Okay. So then I went back there again, and he wasn't there. He was out in the field, but that's okay. I went back right after I left here one day, the city clerk's office, and I went over there, and I handed him the same thing. You know, I need some information on what's going on over there, what repairs have been done. And he said, well, I can't give you that. I don't have that here. And I said, wait a minute, you told me 2 times now that, and I was standing with you there right in front of the secretary, and she said, yeah, she'd get at it as soon as she got done with whatever she was doing. I said, fine, they mail it to us. Now you're telling me I can't get it here? No, we don't keep those records here. You have to go to the city clerk. Why would he send me to the city clerk when he told me, and Gary, that he has this letter in his file, and he would make a copy of it? So if that's true that he gave a letter, he has a letter, and 12 months went by and he didn't, Spradlin didn't fix it, then there would automatically be a fine, from what I understand, of $500 a month if you don't fix problems like that for 2 years, additional years. So that would be $365,000. I'm sure the city could use some of that money.
Mr. Beard, do you know anything about any of this?
Not much. I have been involved in some of the responses to the Freedom of Information. And we respond to those requests with any documents we have. We cannot create documents.
Well, I'd just like some guidance of where I can get these documents.
From what I understand, what you have requested, we have turned over all the documents that we have.
1 year? 09.
All
except for 97, and there wasn't any homes yet till 98. I got them for 2 streets that were put in, and the hydrants were put in 1997. I got documents on that, on those two streets that run north and south. And also, the 2 streets that run east and west, streets you come in on, either on the one end, the north end, or the south end. You can go east and west. And those were only parcel streets. So then, that was in 97, so that was put in, the houses were put in, the first houses were put in 98, so, you know, that report was useless. But anything following that, years after that, kind of like to know.
Thanks for bringing it to my attention. I'll look into it tomorrow.
Okay.
I guess I have a question for Attorney Beard. So what's the trailer park has, or mobile home park has, all the fire hydrants are private land, so they have to maintain it themselves?
When Prairie Knolls switched from a normal subdivision, while it's still in the planning stages, they switched over to a private subdivision. It was made very clear to the developer that as a private subdivision, since we were not involved at all in inspecting the water lines and so forth, that they would remain the ownership.
So this is Prairie Knolls on the north-south street, not
I don't think
the,
it's Prairie Knolls everywhere out there.
Okay.
The entire water and sewer system is privately owned.
okay, so they have to maintain that, and they have to test that or report that, or?
Should.
I guess one request I have, since we had a fire and some of the fire hydrants weren't working and that's a public safety issue, can we have the fire department go out to all the private ones, including Prairie Knolls and also the mobile home park on Sandusky, and check those? Because they're not working and there's a fire out there, that's gonna be trouble.
I understand that we're in the process of repairing them out at Prairie Knolls.
Okay,
When that was brought to our attention, thank you for that.
Yeah.
A month ago.
but have they been,
I understand, I haven't talked to Jack to see where they are in that process, but my understanding is they're going to start with Prairie Knolls immediately. As to the testing, I can check with both Jack and the fire department and see what the process is, and what we need to do to change it to see what has to be done next year.
so,
Phil?
because the fire department does flushing hydrants, is that the testing or is that like a different process?
I think that's the same process.
Phil, do you have any information about any of this?
I've overheard Doug and Chief Sills and Superintendent Cosner working to get this corrected. They're aware of the issue and I don't know where they're at, obviously, but there's been communication between the two.
So the water department is repairing them then?
Well, it's on private property, right? So it's a moving target.
It's Jacksonville, Illinois. I pay taxes in Jacksonville and I live there.
Private
It's still
property.
private property.
But I know Jack and, just as Attorney Beard said, Jack and Chief Sills are working to get them taken care of.
So then what about the mobile, this is a different subject, but what about the mobile home park on Sandusky? Has those fire hydrants out there been tested at all?
I don't know.
Because that's,
I believe so, but I don't know.
yeah, because I guess this is exposed a problem that's going on, and I would like to have the fire department or someone at the next meeting give us an update of what's going on, because if I know it's probably more likely to have a fire in those neighborhoods than anywhere else, because I know just from experience that there's more fires out there. It would be nice to know that the fire hydrants out there work. So, and then if there is at the same time going beyond that, if there's a procedure for finding people, I guess we need to start finding people too.
What are the chances also of having that house condemned and taken out of there, tore out, that burned out house?
Talk to Kelly about that. I would pass that along to Kelly. Again, we have
Because I know there's rodents in there, because people have been telling me about it in the neighborhood. The floor's burned out in the back of that, towards the back side of that house, and the raccoons and stuff are getting in there.
who's the owner?
Jeff Spradlin.
That's one of his houses.
Yes,
Not-
yes, there was a renter in there. That's what I was told. There was a renter. That's one of his, well, he had 12 houses, now he just accumulated probably 4 more. But Okay, well, thank you very much. That's all I have to talk about.
So Steve, you want Chief Sills invited to the workshop meeting?
Either workshop or something, it's probably something that needs to go through the Public Protection Committee. Yeah, I mean, whoever's in charge of it, because if, it's pretty bad that if number of fire hydrants weren't working, I mean,
At least they can bring that up to the.
Yeah.
What's going on.
and it's also a question of, this might be a problem with other private property maintained fire hydrants. We should check those other ones, except for industrial, just like in the neighborhoods.
Okay. Consent agenda. Finance and personnel, Michael.
Thank you. 2 items tonight. Number 1, resolution authorizing payments from the Capital Improvement Fund for certain improvement projects. Number 2, resolution authorizing payments from the general fund for services.
Planning, public works.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have 7 items tonight. How did this grow so big? Number 1, a resolution amending resolution number 2018-2R-064, a resolution approving tax increment financing, redevelopment plan, and project grant agreement between the City of Jacksonville and Big Brother Big Sister. And this is at 226 East Morgan. Number 2, resolution approving primary construction engineering services agreement for motor fuel tax funds regarding the Safe Routes to Schools project. Number 3, resolution for improvement under Illinois Highway Code appropriations motor fuel tax funds for the safe, did I just read that? No. The Safe Routes to School project. Number 4, resolution approving local agency agreement for federal participation for the East Michigan Avenue MFT project. Number 5, resolution for improving under the Illinois Highway Code appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the East Michigan Avenue motor fuel tax project. Number 6, resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Village of South Jacksonville regarding the East Michigan Avenue MFT project. Number 7, resolution awarding bids for the Church Street Municipal Parking Lot resurfacing project. Thank you.
Public protection.
Thank you. With 2 items, resolution awarding bid for K-9 vehicle less freight and allowance for Jacksonville Police Department. Number 2, resolution amending resolution number 2018 R55, a resolution awarding bid for 3 squad cars less freight and allowance for Jacksonville Police Department. Thank you.
Utilities.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. One item tonight, resolution authorizing payments from Waterworks and Sewerage Project Fund for services rendered improvement projects, and I so move.
Are there any, these items? Are there,
I would second it.
are there any of these items that you'd like to have pulled?
Richardson?
Yes.
Aaron Scott?
Yes.
Bill Scott?
Yes.
Wankle?
Yes.
Wormowski?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
O'Neill?
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Committee reports, planning and public works.
Yes, we have 1 item. First reading of an ordinance amending the Jacksonville Municipal Code, Chapter 28, Traffic and Vehicle, Preferential Streets and Yield Intersections. Pacific Yield right-of-way intersections established. So move.
Second.
Be ordained that chapter 28, traffic and vehicles be amended, deleting the language of the right-of-way street as Harold Cox Drive, the yield sign facing traffic on East State Avenue, east and west, and including language, the right-of-way street now becomes East State Avenue, east and west, the yield sign facing traffic on Harold Cox
just like to say I had a conference with Alderman Scott, and he suggested that we add changing the stop sign to a yield sign at the next meeting, but City Attorney Beard will get that language ready. We can amend it for next time.
Any more discussion? Roll call.
Aaron Scott?
Yes.
Bill Scott?
Yes.
Wonkel?
Yes.
Wormowski?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Odenettle?
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
Richardson? Motion passes.
Any old business? Yes.
I would like to request to untable resolution number 2018 R88, the purchase of a pickup truck from Wood Wheels. I have further discussion after we untable it. Tabling something means we are postponing it, and I would like to stop postponing it and bring it up so we can vote yes or no on that. Kelly Hall's on vacation. I recommended to him that we bring it up, and he responded he doesn't care. Oh, sure. Motion to untable. To untable.
So the yes vote means we're going to go ahead and take action on it.
Roll call.
Okay, let's see if I can get these right now. All right. Odenettle?
No.
Patterson?
Yes.
Richardson?
Yes.
Aaron Scott?
Yes.
Bill Scott?
No.
Wonkel?
No.
Wormowski?
Yes.
Williams?
No.
I voted, but no, you serving as mayor was no way. So it may stay for this meeting.
Can we discuss it?
No.
Technically, no, but if you want to, I don't think.
Well, we voted not to do it, so we can discuss it after we voted.
But if you want.
It's, in my opinion, it's not a dead issue. We just need more information on what everybody was requesting, what a new one would cost.
I guess I have a parliamentary inquiry for Attorney Beard. So what, with Alderman Williams serving as mayor pro tem, does that mean he votes on the issues, or just would he vote just for time?
As mayor pro tem, you can still vote on issues. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
As an alderman, he does have his own seat, so to speak.
This is what I understand on the situation, is that they were gonna go ahead and put it on next year's budget, that the supervisor was going to hand his truck down to that position, so that truck, which is aged, would be used for that, and they was gonna take a new truck,
You're talking about the water plant?
the water truck.
You know, what I heard Thursday was that if you go with the used truck, it's gonna become a water truck.
Correct.
If you went with a new truck, it's gonna be given to the latest superintendent, and the truck that he has, would switch to the water truck, so that you don't have a brand new truck all on water. What I would suggest is you'll have full complement, I think, or fuller complement going to address this at the next meeting. And I don't know what additional information they may be able to get. I think Skip had some information about the cost of a new truck compared to a used one.
Kelly's got that too.
Kelly has that. Maybe I suggest we get that information out to you for the next meeting, address it then, and try and take care of that point. I have to add, I'm not gonna be at that meeting, but one of my partners will be here.
I guess if I could add two things. First, I'm troubled with the procedure that's going on here, because apparently Mr. Woods purchased the vehicle, is that right?
Purchase it for yourself, yes.
With the assumption that the city was going to buy it. So the number one problem is that it's not your fault, but I guess it needs to get out there that people can't be having exposure like that on a business term, in business terms, until the city council approves it. So I don't know if it's a question like changing what we've done in the past or just like assumptions how the city works, but people can't really expose themselves financially until the city council approves something. The second thing I wanted to bring up is I know last year with downtown, we purchased some sort of vehicle with a trailer so we could water downtown. So it makes me wonder, why are we buying a water vehicle specifically for downtown, and then someone wears a different color shirt and it's specifically a water vehicle just for the parks? Like, how come the whole city can't get together and have like a specialized vehicle like this for watering with a tank and everything like that, just go for the whole city instead of like everyone having their own shirt and their own equipment? Just seems like it'd be cheaper and lower maintenance and everything like that.
I think that last time it was explained to us that if there was a demand for it at the same time, getting it back and forth is going to be an issue. And that's the way it's explained last time, because I think that came.
I think Terrier is a smaller unit, much smaller.
I don't have I just got the only water wagon I have just goes behind the golf cart.
Yeah.
And it only holds 115 gallons.
And then we had to buy like a larger vehicle to pull the water tank, I thought we did.
No, I didn't buy any vehicle for the water tank.
I remember some discussion previously that we had to upgrade something so we could pull water around, and then we're buying another vehicle to pull water around, and it just seems like everyone can get together on the same team instead of having.
3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I was approached on the same situation before the last time you guys bought. And it went through the situation where you guys made a decision to take the fire truck out of the fire department and move it out to the parks and lakes, as in you just transporting it out there because you didn't need a new vehicle, which perfectly made sense to me at that time. I had no problem with it. They come to me a couple of years ago. He said, hey, we're kind of looking for the same thing as what we were looking for before when we transferred that over. And I said, yep, totally understand. Makes sense. I found him something. It's working out perfect. 2 years down the road here, we're sitting here, and you guys transferred one of your trucks to the city parks and lakes from the fire department. It's worked out good. You've used that truck that I sold you 2 years ago, and he's had no problems with it. You guys don't put 7,000 miles a year on these trucks. They're all going to rust out before they run out. Why are we deciding we need to buy a new truck for the parks and lakes, period? I mean, if you can get by, you know, if a business person can get by, a small business person can get by, and you're looking at a brand new thing that's $35,000, and he all of a sudden gets by at 20, 21, 22, that's just common sense. Mr. Wonkley asked, he said, we ain't got any exact figure on what a new truck would cost. The Journal Recruiter reported it would cost $34,250 2-3 weeks ago in the paper when we were up here doing this same thing. You guys drag your feet for, I mean, that truck's gonna last you guys another 10 years. So 2 weeks ago when we were sitting in this room, you guys authorized 2 brand new trucks for the utility department, if I remember. You took an 03 and an 05 out of service. Nobody asked how many miles were on. One was bought used and one was bought new. Nobody asked a question. I mean, they both died at the same time, so what?
Well, these were smaller vehicles.
Huh? Do we still need a brand new pickup truck to go out to the lake and probably gonna scratch it up and cosmetic wise do more damage than you are going to any other place?
Mayor Pro Tem, for me, I would like for Kelly Hall to come and talk to us about what his intentions are, what he needs it for. We need him to come to the council. We need to hear him or his staff or his staff. I totally understand what you're saying. But typically, we take a lot of direction from our department heads. And our department head needs to be here when we're voting on these things so we can ask them specific questions. That's the reason why I didn't vote to take it off the table tonight, is because I need to talk to the department head. I need him here so that we can ask questions about what so I understand what you're saying, but what we don't know is the long term. What is he looking for in the future for types of vehicles? You know, he came to us for a used vehicle, fine. but is next year, what's he gonna come to us? Does he need more vehicles? So are we kicking the can down the road? I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but we need the department head here so that we can make an informed decision, not just,
He was here the first time.
but we didn't, but we're in a different place right now. And we need him to be here. And so my request would be that he be at the next meeting so we can ask these questions, or we can have a meeting with him so that we know what his intent is and what he feels is best serving the Parks and Lakes Department.
Well, I truly believe that if Kelly Hall had any problems with a pickup truck he bought from me 2 years ago, he wouldn't approach me. Makes sense, right? I mean, he wouldn't even come to even halfway talk to me if that was the situation. And it's working out perfect, so.
You gotta understand, Racer, that we take direction, a lot of direction from department heads, just like our chiefs and stuff. Same with Kelly and Mike asked that night about putting it off and getting a new truck. And Kelly was fine with that, putting that in next year. If he's not fine with that, he needs to come before us and tell us that.
Well, if your mom and dad were gonna give you a used car or a brand new car, which one would you take? There you go. Why wouldn't he?
But he needs, if he wants to get that used vehicle, he needs to come to us and tell us that.
He did the first
I
time.
think if you look around at other municipalities like Springfield, Quincy, they're all new vehicles. I mean, they're all new vehicles. It's just the age we live in because of this state bid, we get them so cheap. That's what it's.
But they're not that cheap.
And Winchester-
34,000's lots different than 22,000.
Winchester's is.
A lot cheaper than an individual can buy.
And I think,
That's what the state.
and I think the question came up about insurance, and that was another question too that Alderman Cook had, and warranty, absolutely. So and you and I have talked, and, right, and
I don't have nothing.
I think the quality, I don't think this has anything to do with the quality of your vehicles at all. I think this is, we need to hear from the department head, and we need just to have a clear intention on what he wants and what he needs.
Just said that most municipalities buy new. Right there in the Journal Courier, the Winchester agenda the other night, there were approval for a used pickup truck down at Marshall Chevrolet. I got a question. If you go to one city, you go to Marl Brothers for all your state bids. They're not the only person that has a state bid contract in the state of Illinois. How come you don't go look at more state bids and see if they're the cheapest state bid?
I will bring this up again at the next
Yeah,
meeting.
well, and get Mr. Hall here.
Or talk to them between now and then.
And find out what it, my question with
I
this
have
is
talked
what
to
is it-
him. He said the council has spoken.
Yeah. What was his intent at the very beginning of it? That's what I wanted.
To use it as a basic water truck.
No, I'm talking about as he approached Racer about what his intent was. Did he say that we were going to vote yes?
No, he did. No, he did not.
Oh.
He come out and talked to me, just like he talked to me the other time. And I found something. I said, here it is. He said, I have to go within the council before that. I said, I understand that. I understand what the steps are. I've been up here for 5 times. And you want to put it off, and it's just, you know what, as a small businessman, myself, you're talking about saving tens of thousands of dollars here. You're not talking about saving hundreds of dollars. I mean, and if you can get by with something that's used and gonna get you by 10 or 12 years, just the way that new one was, and if it wears out, it's gonna wear out anyway. You've saved 10 grand to start with. So, I mean, a few repairs here and there, you're money ahead.
Okay.
Basically, on a brand new vehicle, 3 year, 36,000 miles, if that vehicle that I just sold you guys almost 2 years ago lasts another 13 months, after 37 months, all bets are off and you gotta repair them anyway. So,
Okay.
there's something to look at.
But
Not
as-
just this one truck.
As Alderman Scott just mentioned earlier, we don't know what these department heads are thinking down the road. He's evidently got a plan in place that he's going to move a used truck over to the water truck. We don't know that. I mean, that's why we take all these guys' advice.
for 2 weeks, you guys want to know a price on a brand new vehicle for 2 or 3 weeks here now. Now, it's reported in the paper. I mean, where did it come from? It come from the first meeting that Kelly was at.
Okay, so why don't we take this up for the next meeting? So we'll go to new business. Is there any new business? Anybody? Anybody, what, for adjournment? Ordinance, make the motion.